Listen up, I think.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Live.
Hey, everyone.
I'm here with my host, Mr. Scott Free,
Hey.
and we have an amazing guest tonight, Kalia J. Fitzgerald, who is with the National Black Caucus for the Green Party, and she does a fairly interesting Green Party tea on TikTok Live, 6 p.m. on Sunday. Welcome, Kalia. How are you tonight?
Thank you for having me, both of you. I am doing well tonight. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Hanging in.
Okay, hang it in. We'll go with that.
Yeah. So tell us a little about the why I'm green. I'm kind of curious about that one.
So during the election time, we were thinking about all these different things, but after the election, we were like, okay, we need to connect with people and let them know why we're green, and not just why we're green, but also why we're staying green. So during our live, I just asked about it, and then we didn't do a challenge. I just asked to say, make a video, say why I'm green and why I'm staying green, and use the hashtag why I'm green, and just tag me in it and things like that. And we did have some pretty good videos.
Excellent. That sounds like it's such a great idea. I just, Edie and I we've kind of gotten this live stream going. And one of the things we're coming up against, but we just really want other state parties to be involved. We want, aside from the national, we really want, and that's a great idea to connect, and that you're doing that through your TikTok
Yes.
Sunday night tea. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. Well, trust me, we'll be there.
Thank you. The more the merrier.
Yes.
So if we've got a little intro, if Ariel, if you wanna show that, that'd be great.
Hello, everyone. So last night on Green Party Tea, we discussed different ways to move forward within the Green Party, and we wanted for other people to say why they became green and what made them stay. So it's not a challenge, but I'm asking if you would make a video with the hashtag why I'm green, tag me in it, so that we can let people know why we became members of the Green Party and why we continue to be members of the Green Party. I think it's important for people to get this information so that we can spread awareness about the Green Party and what it is that makes so many people come over from the Uniparty and decide that they are going to grow this party. Because believe it or not, it's growing, baby, and we want to keep that growth going. So please just remember, hashtag why I'm green, tag me in it, Green Party Tea, and I will see you at Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay? Thank you all.
That was great.
Yes. And I just signed on at TikTok, Green Party _TEA. So everyone sign on there on TikTok.
Thank you.
So what kind of things are you working on in either the national, or you also do North Carolina Black Caucus?
Yes.
What's going on?
So with North Carolina, we actually just established the Black Caucus of the North Carolina Green Party, which I am a co-chair of. Nice. And we will be making sure that information is put out during the gathering. We have monthly meetings, and we wanted to bring the community in and make sure we have safe spaces to talk. And it's our first caucus in North Carolina. Wow. So it was a big deal for us. We had chapters, most states have chapters, but some of them don't always have the caucuses. Mm-hmm. And having that place, which the caucuses are made for, allows us to be able to continue to speak about the things that matter the most to us and be able to reach out to communities that we want to reach out to. And it encourages others to say, okay, well, we can do a caucus too. And we can make sure that our needs are getting met in our communities too. So that was a big reason for us. And one of the things that we do have to do is be members in the National Black Caucus, which I am a member there as well. So in the National Party, let's see, I do a lot.
Like, how long is the list, right?
Oh goodness, very long. So
Well, we have an hour, so you just go, girl.
plus, we can keep going.
Yeah.
Well, I am a delegate from North Carolina to the National Committee. I am on the annual meeting committee.
Wow.
Let's see, I am on the Green Congressional Candidate Committee. I am the communications director there. I'm a volunteer for the Candidates Coordinating Committee. That's the state and local candidates. And the GCCC is the congressional candidates. So,
Oh my gosh.
yes.
So when do you sleep? No.
Between the hours of never and none, basically. That I think, is that all I do on the national? I'm gonna say yes. And if I missed anything, I'm sorry. I love you all committees. Oh, I'm on the media team. I'm on the media committee of the National Party. I just started there, so
okay.
Wow.
that was that's why I was like, I know I'm missing something, but I just started on the media team of the National Party, so I'm very excited about that. As far as North Carolina, I'm actually the membership chair of the Green Party.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm the co-chair of the Black Caucus. I do work on our media team as well. And do I do anything else? Yeah, a lot.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you why you're green and what makes you stay.
So, one of the things that turned me totally off to the uniparty politics was, I guess around everybody's time, was 2016. And it was just like, oh my goodness, I just cannot do this. So I started to look for something different because I knew other options were out there. And I found our state party. So I just started just getting in there just a little bit and started reading about it. And I went to the website, found out about the 4 pillars, the 10 key values, and then I looked at the platform. And the platform is what got me into the Green Party, for real. Because the platform was not just about beating another party. The platform was about the people. And that made me get into the Green Party. And what makes me stay is because we are not like other parties. Like, I don't even like to call us a party half the time. I like to call us a working class humanitarian organization, because this is what we do.
Right.
This is our lives. So continuing to see what's going on, not just in North Carolina, but across the country and then around the world, knowing that there are green parties in other countries. So we do have that outreach and the ballot access. It was just like, why go anywhere else when you have everything you need in one place?
Right. No, I think that's really important. That, and was it Butch or was he was quoting Kwame Ture, I think, when he talked about how being in a political party is actually bigger than just taking on one issue. And he says that's why it's a revolutionary act, because it is about the entire system. Right. And I think that's, I hadn't thought of it in those terms. I just kind of liked the Green Party, but as the years that I'm in it, I'm getting to understand better how important it is. But you're right. It certainly doesn't feel like a political party at all. I don't feel like,
it kind of feels like a family.
Right. It's just
I feel like I finally found my family, my political family I've been looking for my entire life.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'll answer the question, and then Ariel, if you want to play the other one we have after I get done saying why I'm green. I didn't prepare anything, so suck it up. I loved Ralph Nader. I mean, he's the reason that we're safer, and he's an amazing person. He ran in 2000, and that's when I first started thinking green, and then I got sucked back into the Democratic Party for a while, and then I woke up again.
There you go.
Yeah, and Jill brought me here. Jill
Yes.
Stein and Butch Ware's campaign. I'm like, you know what? This is a place that I feel comfortable. They want everything that I want, and they have ballot access in order to actually challenge power. And they welcome you in, which is not something the other two parties do.
Right.
There's no roadblocks. I mean, you come in, you can work on whatever you want. And I think that's refreshing. And they listen to you. Oh my God. They listen to your ideas, and a lot of times they happen. So, so that's why I say I feel like it's somewhere I can get some work done and make things better for
Yes. Yes.
So,
And I'll give my little 2 cents on why I'm green. Although, completely not planned, and just kind of, actually, I mean, it's interesting. It's kind of similar in terms of I was peripheral for years. I mean, I voted for Jill in 2016, and I've just kind of followed. And I think it's more like, as I really understand the country and politics and all that, it just makes me more into the Green Party, because it's really making sense to me now how much of a corrupt system we have become. I was thinking about this today, how, the original definition of fascism, which I think was the Mussolini definition, was, I'm sure I pronounced his name wrong, was how it was the corporate takeover of government. That was the original term for fascism. And I realized it's almost like complete in the US, because even think of like, I mean, I hate to bring up the subject of oil, because obviously we have got to get past oil, but very quickly, MAGA loves to talk about energy independence. Russia has energy independence. Venezuela has energy independence. We can never have energy independence because it's not, we give the oil to these private companies who are multinational corporations and do whatever the hell they want, right? So we actually have zero energy independence. And I was thinking about it in terms of housing, in terms of banking, in terms of healthcare. We've given that all the way to private companies. So what do we have? We are like 100% fascist. Well, close. But so anyway, it just makes me think that we need a solution. And through the, through the electoral process, this is the solution. So I'm sorry, that went way too long-winded.
You're fine. It makes sense, and people need to hear these things. So don't be sorry.
Yeah. So please like, subscribe, and share the stream, everybody. Please. We got 33 people. I don't see any likes yet. Come on, y'all.
Come on.
Like. And Ariel, you want to play the clip?
Green Party because it represents the values and principles that matter most to me. Justice, accountability, and the fight for a better future. For too long, I have felt disconnected from a political system that prioritizes corporate interests over the well-being of people and the planet. The Green Party is different, though. It stands for the things that will truly make a difference, like peace, sustainability, grassroots democracy, and social justice. As someone who has taken accountability for my past mistakes, I believe in the power of growth and change, not only for individuals, but for our society as a whole. The Green Party embodies that belief by fighting for marginalized communities, advocating for mental health resources, and working towards a world where every voice matters. Through my advocacy for Palestine, men's mental health, and a transparent government, I've come to realize the importance of aligning with a party that shares my values. The Green Party isn't just about politics. It's about people and our collective responsibility to create a fair and sustainable world. For me, being a Green Party member means standing up for the right thing, even when it's not easy. It's about being part of a movement that doesn't just talk about change, but actively works towards it, locally, nationally, and globally. Encourage other Greens to make videos expressing why you are Green Party members. Make sure to use hashtag #WhyI'mGreen.
Wow,
Love
that's
it.
terrific.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah,
So when did you start this, and how's it going?
I started it a while back. So throughout the Green Party Tea Show, we do different challenges. Right now, our challenge actually is anything that you're doing.
No, I thought
any,
there was going to be a big announcement.
any post that you're doing, any type of video that you're making on any platform, just put the hashtag Butchwear, the number 4, Gov, G-O-V.
There you go.
We are doing that for the whole month of February to get that boost out there to let people know that Butch Ware, our former vice presidential candidate, is running for governor of California.
Yes. And he does make a video. He's got a video out. Maybe he talked about it on Savvy's show or the Marxist thing he was on recently. But he talks about how everyone across the country can help. They can do the phone banking aspect. They can certainly donate. So, there are ways for everyone to help his campaign. And it's going to be a big one. This is really, really important for Butch and the Green Party.
So if you're looking for a place to plug in, let me see. Ariel, if you can find the banner, just go to butchforgov.com. There it is. Butchwearforgov.
Butchwearforgov.com.
Yeah. And, if we can get California, look out, people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a huge state. It's like the 5th largest economy in the world.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Greens would be in charge of it. At least the governor would be. Now, and hopefully, and if you look at the people that get elected, there's more Greens elected in California than anywhere.
We have a great Green Party in California. Absolutely.
That could be our end to everything else. Get in there, do a great job, because I know he will.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm excited.
I'm really excited because what we've been seeing coming in and out of California, especially with these fires that just happened in different communities, with the natural disasters that keep happening in the area, and how the funding keeps getting shifted from one place to another. And then you see that funding should not have been shifted because now it's needed someplace else. So having somebody that is environmentally aware, which is something that the Green Party is about, being environmentally aware means a lot to a place that, while they say it doesn't rain in Southern California, it definitely they have their issues with the environment, the erosion on the beaches and different things like that. And he would be able to tackle those issues because he's being aware and trying to save people in their homes and make them safer. And that's what we have to do. Save the environment first. This is the only world that we have to live on. So I don't plan on going anywhere else. So if you don't save it, if you don't treasure it, and one of those things that I think about in that is the indigenous community. I said on our last show, if you're talking about the environment in the United States and you don't have an indigenous leader in the room, you're not talking about the environment.
Mm.
They know this land. It's their land.
That's a fantastic point.
Right. And so I think that moving forward, we need to definitely encourage members of the indigenous community when we're talking about the environment to be a part of that conversation, because they were the stewards of this land. Mm-hmm. And they know the indigenous plants for each area. That's something that we're thinking about doing for our Earth Day here, trying to get seed swaps going on and talking about the local plants and things that needed to be in our area to revitalize the ecosystem, because so much construction and stuff goes on, it disrupts the ecosystem. And with Butch Ware, I think he'll be able to do that in California as well. and get people to finally wake up to that point where they say, okay, we can have industry, but we also need to have a place to live in order to have that industry.
Yeah, I don't know if you were aware that it was the Resnicks that bought most of the water rights in California, and that's the reason they didn't have water for the fire.
Mhm.
Using it for Palm Wonderful, what is it, pomegranate juice and
Mhm.
Wonder almonds and all that. So I think they own like 60% of the water in California.
Yes.
That's insane. That was some backroom deal that I don't think they asked the population of California. I'm pretty sure they would have said no. Everybody knows
Right.
they're in continuous drought all the time, and one cigarette or one match somewhere can take out a whole neighborhood, especially if you're in a canyon space.
Yeah. And
Um,
people just have to, and this is the thing that the Green Party is really good with and starting to get better at, showing up to those city council meetings, the county meetings, showing up to those places and listening to what's going on, because these people are elected to lead us. And then when they make these big decisions and we don't get to have a say in it, you have to hold somebody accountable. So if you re-elect them, what are you really saying to them?
that's
And
true.
and and on a national level, speaking of the Uniparty, both parties continue to drill and frack at
Mhm.
astounding rates. And so, the bigger issue around California is just that that's not going to go away. It's actually going to get worse.
Right.
And right, there was a couple. I watched weather a lot, and so the two combinations that fueled this were a drought in January, very supposedly very rare, won't be rare anymore, along with the increased winds, the Santa Ana winds, which have been strong in the past. Now they're at 100 miles an hour. So it's those are the kinds of things, and like as we saw with the hurricane, it was the huge storm that came through Helena, and then the hurricane coming all the way up into the states. And so those kinds of things, the combination of two things makes a complete utter disaster. That's going to be common. And so if the Green Party doesn't come in and save this country, we are in big trouble. We really are. I mean, it's just going to get worse. And then throw on top of that the whole privatization of everything. I mean, the insurance industries are going to crash. They're going to crash. And we need government to help us in these disasters.
Mhm.
Instead of all our money going to, Ukraine and Israel, we need the government. That's the reality. Is the
Right.
government needs to be here to help people.
Mhm. So I was the campaign manager for Michael Dublin. He ran for Congressional District 2 here in North Carolina.
Okay.
So I told you I wear many hats. So while we were doing his campaign, we decided to do some mutual aid events. We did two of them. So our first one was going to be for collecting items for the homeless population because the winter was coming up. And then the second one was going to be about collecting food to restock pantries in the area because, again, the winter was coming up. Food was going to be scarce in the pantry. So we wanted to make sure we were doing the best for the communities. And then Hurricane Helene came. And we already had these events scheduled. So we were like, you know what? We can do both and make sure we're helping out the communities that are being affected the most. So we were able to do that, have people come out and they were able to donate to these things. And in order to get them to Western North Carolina, because I'm not sure if you saw in the news, there was a lot of back and forth about who could go there, who couldn't go there, and things of that nature. But we work with RUMA, which is Raleigh United Mutual Aid Hub, and they were able to get all the donations over to Western North Carolina.
Excellent.
So we continued to do this, not just at our events, but whenever we went to a rally for Palestine, we also did these things too. And the mutual aid effort is what you don't see from a lot of the other parties because they're not about the people.
Right.
They are about the people who already have the money and don't need the mutual aid.
Exactly.
The good
And
billionaires.
Butch has made that part of his campaign as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how close are you? You live, I guess you live in North Carolina. How close was all that to you?
That's about good ways away from me. I'm not very close. No, we just had power outages where I'm at, but
Okay.
I was. We had some people there in the Green Party. We did reach out to them and let them know. We even sent emails to our Green Party members and told them if they wanted to send donations to them, they could send donations, and then we would make sure that we were giving that those donations directly to the people affected by Hurricane Helene. So we were doing our best to make sure that we had Green Party members that did go out there and actually help with getting different things done. And we are still trying to organize to make sure we can go out there again because the work is not done yet.
No.
It's cold, and a lot of people are still dealing with. There was just a fire there recently.
Right.
So, the work is not done. You just can't turn your eyes off of this. Just like you can't turn your eyes away from Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Tigray. You cannot turn your eyes away from places because the minute you do, it's going to get worse.
Right.
Yeah. It's almost like you're not quite sure where to look at any given day. I mean, Trump just said he wants to send $1 billion more to Israel, and Scott said something about had some people block it.
Yeah, there was just one report. I think The Hill did it, and how 4 Congress folks blocked it, and it just made me immediately think. And I don't know who they are, but it made me immediately think. Okay, wait a second. Now they can block aid to Israel with about 4 people, and they didn't block all of the bomb shipments that went, all of the billions and billions over the past 15 months that went, and we could have had 4, from the Progressive Caucus do it or something. I mean, it's crazy. It gets me every day I watch the news. It gets me so upset because it shows how just the system is so beyond corrupt that you just, you're reeling. I mean, I know Trump is throwing bombs into these things, and obviously most of what he does is horrific, but at least now we've got the genocide on hold a little. There are still plenty of violence going on, like in Jenin, every day you watch the news and it's just insanity.
I don't think people actually correlate what's going on over there with all of the destruction, with the bombs that are being dropped, to how that affects our ecosystem.
Yeah.
I really don't think that people understand that. We are at levels above what happened in Hiroshima over there.
Yeah.
So you're seeing more turbulent weather patterns, and no one's asking the questions. I actually saw a report where there was a whole earthquake, like an actual whole earthquake for 7 days. We didn't feel it, but it was a whole earthquake. And it was because of an iceberg that fell, and I believe it was New Zealand.
Wow.
And it was just like, it just caused the earth just to quake. There was like, everybody was seeing everything across their radars. And that was the first man-made natural earthquake.
Wow.
And we can expect more of that, but at the scale of which it happened to affect the whole earth, you have to really think, well, what will happen if this continues to go on? It's a scary thought.
Yeah.
And it took scientists a while to even figure out what was going on. Imagine how, if we continue to keep this destruction up the way that it is going on, because they haven't stopped. I mean, look what happened in the West Bank just a few days ago.
Right.
in civilian places. They haven't stopped.
Okay.
It's like it's to me, it's like their war strategy is really okay. We're going to ceasefire here so we can take our troops over here, and then,
Right.
then we take our troops over there because that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, and I think it was a pause for Israel to regroup. To be honest, because they always get what they want first, and then when it comes to phase 2, where Palestine gets something, oh, sorry. I mean, it's kind of like, how it, even though it's an extreme version, it's kind of like here. Oh, let's just do this, and you guys can wait.
Right.
I mean, that's what they do to the American people on a different scale, but it's the same story. I mean,
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you have places like Congo and Sudan that need to be amplified with what's going on. Everything that we're using, the laptops that we're using, the phones that we're using, even some of the cars that we're driving, come from these resources and minerals from these places. And we're not hearing enough about what they're trying to do to get these things to stop. We're not putting that information enough out there. And they are going through like millions displaced, millions unalive, because that's what TikTok makes us say, sorry. But at what time?
No, that's right. The new language. Yep.
So it's just like, okay, like when I found out that they had over 1 million babies die in a year, I was heartbroken. I cried because as a mother of many, it took me to a place just to think that there are so many mothers across the world that aren't able to hold their children anymore just because of the United States policies and how they are helping other countries disrupt other countries, and they continue to do this. And there's nothing that's stopping them because we continue to elect these congressmen and these presidents that don't stop it.
Right.
Right. They don't serve.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you are elected, your job is to serve the people, not yourself.
But that's why
donors, you know. Yeah.
The Green Party is different because with the other parties, you can pay them. They are bought and paid for. Like, before you go into the ballot booth, you already know who they might as well wear those NASCAR jackets with the badges of who they're getting sponsored by, because that's what it is. And APAC sponsored a lot of politicians this year.
Absolutely.
Right.
But the Green Party, you can't do that.
No.
We are like sponsored by the darn people.
Right. And so that's also what I like about the Green Party, because I know when I elect a Green Party member, they're going into the office accountable to the Green Party members, because they know that there is no corporation backing them. There's no big financier backing them. It's the people backing them. And they also are beholden to the 4 pillars and those 10 key values. I don't have to guess. I don't have to wonder. I know exactly how they're going to vote. Yeah. It's not a flip-flopping idea. I know exactly how they're going to vote. And I love that.
Yeah.
But other people can't say that. They can't say what kind of bills they're going to introduce. They can't say what they're going to vote on. They cannot say with certainty how their party, the people they are electing, are going to actually act.
Yeah,
because they're told what to do. They're told what bills they are. Everything. They simply repeat what's been told to them. I mean, there was no more extreme example. You just couldn't believe it, how crazy they got when the issue of Israel came to the head because of the genocide. And they're passing anti-Semitism speech bills, and they're, Fetterman's up on a roof with the Israel flag. And I mean, everything, make Israel first again, right? It's everything it just exposed them as being for Israel before they're for America. And I say it in almost every podcast, that vote that where I watched every Democrat vote to starve and bomb Palestinians. It was a shock. But that's a great example of they are just doing what they are told. And what they are told is what, who pays them the most money for their next reelection campaign. That's all they do. It's frightening how they don't have any principles.
What's up, Justin B?
Yes.
House.
Yeah, I think about it like there's one specific Congress member in South Carolina. I won't mention his name because I don't want to be messy. But there's
Go for it. Come on.
Jim Clyburn. Okay, fine.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh my God.
Now, I've known Jim Clyburn for a very long time. My cousin even went to D.C. to be a page for him while she was in high school.
Okay.
So Jim Clyburn has known my family and all these types of things. But when you think about what he's done from the area that he represents, it's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I used to live there, and he doesn't do anything to help the area. And they had a dinner, and somebody asked him about reparations, and he was like, "Eat your chicken."
Wow.
Sir, excuse me. You want my vote, but you can't even talk about the one thing that matters to me?
Right.
No. And that's why I love that reparations is in the Green Party platform.
Absolutely.
It's there.
Yeah, that's what got Butch to join.
Mm-hmm.
It's like cash payments, baby. Let's do it.
Right.
So, and Jim Clyburn is responsible for Bernie not getting traction.
Right.
He came out and supported Biden, and that's how we got Biden.
The race is
Obama orchestrated behind the scenes, made everybody drop out except for Elizabeth Warren.
The famously racist Biden. That's what's so sick. So, I mean, he was famous for being racist. He wasn't just racist. He was known for decades.
He was extra.
I said I will write in my friend's dog before I vote for Biden. That's what I would have done, because he's responsible for so many crime bills that affect marginalized communities. I was just like, how do y'all? And this is why I said that there needs to be term limits for Congress.
Yeah.
Come on. And I know North Carolina, with the Congress meeting that they're all going to do, the Constitutional Congress, I believe it is. North Carolina has signed on, but they said they want to talk about term limits for Congress. And I'm like, finally, somebody is saying what needs to be said out loud, because lifelong members of Congress get swept up into this swell of, ooh, I'm getting more money. Ooh, I'm getting more this. Ooh, I'm getting more that. There's no other better example than AOC.
Oh, God.
She went from, I'm going to help the people, to, oh, my goodness, Biden is the best. And who is the Green Party? Girl, you know who we are.
Yeah, we helped you get into office the first time, girl.
Right. You were.
It was Justin B. Thank you, Justin B. He was the one who found the picture of her holding up the Green Party candidate she used to work for.
Yes.
So, he exposed her nationally. Yes, that day she became the laughing stock of Twitter. That's for sure.
Yes, it's just
and there's people that canvassed with her that were green in New York that know they were there. I didn't imagine it. Yeah, I helped you get elected, and then you're like, oh, that's good, but I don't need you anymore.
And what I came to realize is, if you look at every single politician in our government, every single one, they all went through that process of selling out. Every single one, to get to where they are. And yes, that includes Bernie Sanders. To get to where they are, they sold out. They made a deal with the devil. They absolutely did. I mean, yeah.
And that's why I continue to like the Green Party, because you can't sell us, you can't buy us, you can't do anything with us. We are the people.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a people-powered party.
Right.
That's what it is.
100%.
and we continue to show up and do the work, even if it's 5 people doing the work of almost everything and where they can go, those 5 people are making a difference. And one of the things that we also talked about on my last show was visibility. And this is why we wanted to do the hashtag, put share for GOV. And why I'm green, because the visibility of the Green Party, especially after an election cycle, it plummets if we even get, any visibility during the election. So if the people are the ones that are actually boosting it out there, it costs you nothing to like and share a post. It costs you nothing to come in and watch a podcast. It costs you nothing to just be present and do different things. And so that's where the visibility comes in. The members showing up and saying, hey, well, my party tweeted something. I'm going to retweet it. My party shared something on Facebook. I'm going to share it too. They're on TikTok. Ooh, I'm going to repost it. Those are the things, because the media is not going to talk about us. But we also know the media is fake. It's bought as well.
Right.
TikTok showed that to everybody.
Right.
So once you have the veil lifted off of your face, the people can be the media. And this is what you all are doing right now. You are the media talking about the Green Party, letting people know we are alive, we are well, we have not stopped working. Please stop saying that after, every presidential year we go into hibernation. That is not the case. No. We have elected officials that are actually in office, and we continue to do the work. Let's be more visible.
And I also realize the people that say that, I know the people who say that, that's just people who are spreading the propaganda because they don't want us to be there. I've seen a couple of that of ex-friends of mine who, what you should do, and this is because they've heard it somewhere else, what you should do is you should run local office. You should run people in local offices, as if we don't.
And you're like,
if we
really?
have for decades and decades. Right.
Really? We never thought of that.
Purpose. That's their nice way of saying, oh, Jill Stein, please go away. Mm-hmm. That's the nice way of what they really mean. Right. They're just really bothered that, it's just, it's, and again, all the extreme examples that have happened, it's just astounding to me to watch people cling to a genocide party. And that's what the Democrats will be from now on. That 15 months there, they will be forever known as the genocide party.
Yeah.
They are. They did it. They funded it.
And I will also say, I'm sorry, who comes around every 4 years to your door or your text or your email with their hand out?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Democratic Party. I'm pretty sure. Obama asked me today, and I told him what he could do with it.
Right.
In no uncertain terms. Save the cuss word, but you guys are responsible for why we have Trump. Hillary thought she was too smart by half by saying, if I choose my opponent, I can win easier. Well, good job. That's how we got Trump.
Right.
And they don't believe in primaries. They don't, and they did a genocide. Like, oh my God.
Right.
Well, what's interesting to me is when I found out that during the primary seasons, both the Democrats and the Republicans will pay money to an opponent that they don't necessarily think could win, but want to get them to win so that they can go against them in the election.
Right.
And there'll be like a far right-wing person, and they think people want to let them. Right. But when you have, and this is why I call them the uniparty, when you have the Democrats more becoming diet Republicans, it's like, why do I want to vote for a diet Republican when I can just have the Republican?
Yeah.
That's what Kamala was. Her whole shtick was, I'm not Trump. I'm better. Come to me. And I can help a little bit, not much though.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring her joy.
When there's a parliamentarian, then she can't help. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
and look, I mean, compare the Biden presidency to the Trump presidency. I mean, Biden sat there and made excuses, and I can't. I don't have the power. I don't look what the hell Trump is doing. I mean, he's kind of destroying our country, but oh my God, he's just. I mean, it's insane the amount of actions he's taking. What if we had a party that took those kind of actions, but instead towards declaring a climate emergency, declaring a health emergency? That's what we needed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Like Amanda's saying in the chat. What's up, Amanda? Oh, a lot
Hey,
of people are blinded by fear and generally lack motivation because progress requires different levels of sacrifice. But your
Mhm.
second comment's even better. A lot of people would rather pretend the Democrats will help them than admit that we've been duped by the entire system. It might need to work harder for what we need. I mean, it's
that's
okay. I was duped too, but
right.
look.
That's a good point. What a great point. I know it's the letting go. It's the letting go. You don't have to be in that system. You can let go. And that's the crazy thing about voting. I mean, the incredible power we have. All we have to just do is vote for the right thing and we get it in. That's all we have to do. No, it's each person, but so what? That's just a person at a time.
Well, and I would also say in this particular day and age, you have to do a lot more because we've kind of let that slide. There's 88 million people that don't vote. That's a
Mm.
lot.
Oh, wow.
So, maybe join your local Green Party, join the National. Even if you don't do a lot, just keep abreast and every once in a while throw us $20.
Right.
You
And
know?
the thing was, I heard a lot of people say, well, if Jill wins the presidency, how can she get any bills that she wants done? And I'm like, do you know how politics work? You know, not politics, government works.
Right.
It's not how can she get anything done. She doesn't put the bills. No president puts the bills in Congress, but they sign them
Right.
and they can be overridden by veto, but
Mhm.
they would have to work with her.
Mhm.
That would have been what people needed to know. And we had a congressional slate that was running in a lot of different states that would have been able to back her up with that going on. So just like we see him doing these executive orders and
Right.
just bypassing Congress everywhere else, Jill said climate emergency is the first thing I'm going to do.
Right.
That would have been wonderful.
Right.
Think about all the travesties that we have going on that could have changed just with that one executive order.
Right.
Well, that, and I'm going to call BB and say that's enough, buddy.
Yes, yes,
Phone call. No more money for you.
absolutely. Like
Over.
those are the things that we're talking about. You have to know how the government works in order to say, okay, these things can happen. But what a lot of people are saying now is, I don't even want this form of government anymore. It's not working. I understand it's a capitalist, fascist government. We really get that. So, what can we do to make it better?
Right.
Those are questions that we really have to ask ourselves. But when you start to ask yourself those things, what do you really want to make better?
Mhm.
Do you want to make your cities better? Okay, well, those are going to require, taxation because we've got to get the roads together and different things like that. People don't see that kind of stuff as socialism.
Mm.
It's just like that's a bad word here, but we have a country that is run on social programs.
Right.
And people run away from the word socialism so much.
Mhm.
But it's just like I'm not. I saw a quote one day on one of these things, and the guy said, "I don't have any children. However, I pay my taxes to go to education because I want an educated society."
Right.
And
Yeah.
those are the things that we have to think about. Do you want potholes or do you want a paved road?
Yeah.
do you want a working highway that's not going through marginalized counties and cities because they just want to do things? or do you, want something else? Can
Yeah.
we ever get high-speed rail here?
Oh my God.
No, it was voted on in California, but I don't know what happened to it. The people said yes, and then yeah, we'll get around to it. There's another thing that Butch could handle, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll say, I think part of the reason people are kind of hesitant about the taxes is because they don't trust the people that are spending it to spend it on what they say they're going to spend it on.
Yeah.
Greens are people that do what they say they're going to do.
Mhm.
I have seen that. I've been here for a little while, and if somebody says they're going to do it, they will do it.
Right.
And that's just good, period, as a person. But as a party, come on.
Yeah, it's like, go ahead, Scott.
Well,
Sorry.
I was just to say one of the interesting things about the first days of this Trump administration is how, in the process of blowing things up, he's at least exposing some of the things. Like we've had, a day or two for people to start to figure out what USAID is about. And yes, and I know we've got a couple of graphics that Ariel, if you want to put up. Yeah, and so this is a great article. I recommend people see it. It's on SharePost. It was done by Kit Clarendon of Gray Zone, and it just talks about all the thing about USAID. I think it was started by Kennedy, and obviously with good intentions, and it still puts out money for a lot of good work. But over the decades, it's been corrupted. It's been taken over by the CIA type folks, and a lot of what they do ends up being soft power, trying to push governments to overthrow them through violent means, like let's say Ukraine, Georgia. And so in him exposing USAID, it gives people a chance to start to really see more of the machinations of our government, what really goes in our government. Now, Marco Rubio is supposedly taking it over, so it'll probably end up worse, right? In terms of a neocon regime change funding. But again, I keep saying just the levels to which our government is corrupt. We need this process that's happening. It's a crazy nightmare, but hopefully people are waking up to what our government is doing.
And how many people voted for Rubio? 99?
Right.
He's 99 to 0.
He's a war-loving neocon, and yet Bernie Sanders and all the Democrats voted for him unanimously.
Yeah. So y'all that still think there's hope over there, there's not.
No.
We need you here.
It is a uniparty. They're good theater. They're good actors. They really make it look like, and unfortunately, people are still duped into that. They're still duped into thinking that it's one side against the other. Right. It is not. Now, Trump throws a bomb into things. The Republicans didn't necessarily want him, but they knew he would stick enough to the whole work for rich people that they allowed him in. I mean, so yeah.
It's funny to me that he has this whole Doge thing with Elon and everything. And I'm like, you're going after all of these little departments and stuff.
Right.
But the one department that has not passed a, what do you call it? Budget?
Audit.
Yeah. Audit.
At probably at least 3 or 4 years is the military.
Right.
The Pentagon.
No, $6 trillion they can't find or something. Right. It's
hang on.
insane.
Is it under my no?
Well, why? They're like the biggest tax grabbers of all. So why not start there?
Right.
Because, I mean, if we want efficiency, I'm not saying, and I just want to put this out there. I used to live in a military town, go Fort Liberty, and I support people and everything that they want to do. However, you still cannot say, I can't find this $1 trillion jet, or right. I can't find this amount of money and continue to get a raise in the amount of money you get every year.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that wouldn't work anywhere else, would it?
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
And another thing, again, people need to kind of wake up. They've normalized our military's operations around the world. We've dropped bombs every single day for at least 40 years. China has not dropped a bomb in 40 years.
Yeah.
People need to understand that our country is sick. We are a sick country. We need healing us.
Yeah. Healing us. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's-
There's one thing that I wanted to bring up, and I know we're a little short on time, but I watched Savvy Sabs talking about Gloria Steinem and how she kind of hurt the civil rights movement. What did you think of that video? I found it fascinating.
I thought it was a really great video because it captured the essence of how we have gotten to where we're at right now. And people sometimes can't point out a person that could help to get to these places, like was Clarence Thomas. You know, you can't really point out the people who helped down this line. And then when you have that conversation, it's like, okay, I see what you did there. I see you for who you are now. Thank you.
Yeah.
The gloves are off, mask is off. I see you, and now you can't get past it. So it was a very interesting conversation, and I love Savvy Sabs. She's just great. She's gonna get to the point, and she's gonna, make the audience understand this is what's happening, this is what's going on, and she's not. She doesn't put her feelings into it. She puts facts into it.
Yeah. A little bit of feelings. Those pauses, I think, are her trying not to just go off for a second. She's like, I'm gonna pause. Doesn't really matter right now. I mean, that's the feeling I'm getting.
And I think the really important thing about the Gloria Steinem issue is, okay, so she worked for the CIA. Oh, weird. How interesting. But that's how the CIA works. That's what they do. They go into leftist spaces, find people they can buy off, make sure that the issue gets distracted so that class is not the issue. Because, it's when people finally realize that it is the class issue that's going on, that's when the possibility of revolution happens. And that's what they're afraid of. So they do that constantly. The CIA and their ilk do that kind of work constantly, where they infiltrate left spaces. And you see it all the time, and you hear years later, oh, they were actually working for the CIA, right? You're ex-hero.
And they didn't include the class issues in the struggle,
right?
Because it was mainly fairly wealthy white women that wanted the same rights as their male counterparts, and then the civil rights struggle kind of got pushed out of the movement because, a working class person like I am, and both of you are, needs that too. You know what I mean? I mean, nobody, this may be unpopular, but nobody ever asked me. That was before my time if I wanted to go to work. When I grew up, I had to go to work. I didn't have the option to just stay home and be a mom, and maybe I would have wanted to. I didn't get that option.
Yeah, because to be honest, we don't live in a society anymore. That's why I don't like the minimum wage as it is. We don't live in a society anymore that's sustainable on a one income household.
No.
So everything is where it's at. Like, it is sustainable on a one income household. And so people have to work more than one jobs just to get by. That's unfair. And then with the ACA coming into place, oh, well, we're not even going to give you full time now because we don't want to pay for your insurance. So you have those issues as well. Yep. And then they took away affirmative action and now DEI. And it's like, do you know what demographic this was actually helping the most? Because it sure wasn't the people. Exactly. It sure wasn't the people you thought it was. It really wasn't. And even though, it's like, thank you for seeing us, but we're not seen as much. So who are you really hurting, and why do you want to hurt these people? Because when you think about diversity, it's diversity. What does that have to do with skin color, nationality, ethnicity? It is diversity. You can have your hair pink, and that's diverse.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
equity. And I talk about on my show, like, we have to, whenever we're talking about something too, if there's not a disabled person in the room, you're not talking about anything, because how can they have access to these things? How are they going to be able to manage doing certain things? So if you are talking about just driving and you don't have a disabled person in the room, you're not going to know the full side of the story.
Mhm.
So there has to be that inclusion of people for that reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
Well said.
it's like none of the people that are in Congress are doctors. They're lawyers or political science people. And that has nothing to do with being a doctor that can inform patients on anything. Yet they are making these decisions for women and their bodies and things like that. And I'm saying, well, why can't there be a board of oversight for these medical professionals to be able to at least talk to you about it, because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
No idea. So if you don't bring these people who actually have knowledge of something into the room, it's not inclusion, it is exclusion. And it's not a left-right issue, it's a top-bottom issue.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well said. Snaps.
That's my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how are they supposed to regulate anything if they don't know what the workers have to do? I think they don't care.
No, of course. Like I said, sold
That part.
their soul to the devil years ago. They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, AOC Pelosi, who used to be
Oh.
bartender, who's now tending bars for the rich.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Well, and I don't know if you saw, I know we're a little over time, but I don't know if you saw like the DNC election of the new chair. The old chair seemed like a nice black man up there talking, but that's all he talked about was surface identity politics. Right. No substance. No, we're gonna do anything. But look at me.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. That was all there was.
I think that's the only difference in the Democrats and Republicans. The Republicans know, like, okay, this is our group right here. We got these people. And the Democrats, okay, like, whoever they don't got, we have. And so that's why they come against us so hard, because they're like, oh, no, you're going to take away our people. First of all, you don't own a vote. So Republicans nor Democrats own a vote.
Right.
So I'm not taking anything away from you. If you didn't earn it, that's what they want to call DEI, didn't earn it, then, you can't say I took it away from you. You just did not run a good campaign. You were not doing what the people wanted. Mm-hmm. You were kind of like I got to choose you because, ugh. And who wants that?
Right.
Right.
And I saw, the right wing was making fun of the DNC meeting where they were naming the number of genders for their votes. Mm. And unfortunately, that is the problem. If you're at such a surface level where you're counting the genders, then you don't get it. You don't get it.
And that's nothing to do. I mean,
doesn't.
Didn't MLK say it's about? Didn't MLK say it's about the content of your character?
Right. Exactly.
Did y'all forget that part?
Right.
In this good Black
History. I thought I heard that.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. And we're in Black History Month and we're going through these things, and it's just like, oh, you're going to take away Black History Month, or you're going to take away MLK. You can say you're going to take away something, but the people will always do what they're going to do.
And it's so funny. It just makes it stronger, right? Really? Exactly. Really? You're going to take it away? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I saw somebody say, we didn't ask for Black History Month. We asked to be included in the history because we are American history. Yeah. But if you don't want to include us in the history, we would like our 40 acres and a mule. Cash App, PayPal, have
Exactly.
Plus interest and
interest.
There you go.
And what would that be like? What's that word of
land
like,
interest?
What is worth today? Inflation.
Right.
Interest plus inflation.
And you got to start with the indigenous folks because land back is a thing. They are the stewards of this land. So, you know.
Percent.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 66 people watching, but I've only got 1 like. So maybe it's me seeing it. So everybody like the stream.
Please do. And Kalia, what you said about the social media is so true. I'm trying to do it. Like, I friended you at all the places, and I go down and I've been doing it for the parties, right? So now North Carolina, I'm going in, and that I'm trying to make that, and I want everyone to make that a regular thing. When you go on social media, go to the Green Party places, go to the candidates, and share, because that's what's going to count. We are fighting a battle of visibility. It's a huge battle.
Yeah. We're not going anywhere. We're doing the work every single day.
And if people do that and make it a regular routine, that's going to help so much to like, share, comment. Absolutely. On every platform.
TikTok. I dislike the stream.
Thank you. Oh, you disliked it? Oh, no. Do they have that? I don't remember. I don't think. Do they have that on YouTube?
Well, we love you anyway. How's that?
That's okay. I don't. Oh my God, people unfriend me on Facebook all the time.
It's all right. I mean, all we're trying to do is make people's lives better.
Right.
Yeah. No.
I mean, get away from the parties that have been bought by billionaires. Oh, good. Okay. So I just can't see it in StreamYard, I guess.
Oh,
nice. 4 wheat treats.
17
likes. Hang on.
No, it's a difficult process. People get really angry when you challenge the system because it's this weird thing. I mean, I'm trying to kind of understand it, but I kind of delve deep and follow folks who are really digging in, really good journalists who are finding out information that doesn't get put on the regular mainstream news. So when you present that to people, it's such a shock to them that they attack you.
Right.
And I mean, I get that all the time. I get attacked all the time. And all I'm doing is presenting journalism from very trusted sources.
Mm-hmm.
But again, because our media has been completely bought and are in complete control, the stuff I say sounds like, I just said USAID.
It runs into CIA.
Yeah. And I was going to say USAID as a CIA front, and people are like, "What the fuck?" It's like, but it's these folks. They are good journalists. They work really hard, and they find out this information, and it's not pretty information. It isn't.
Did you want to bring up the blueprint, Scott? I hope we're not keeping you too long, and you can hang on after the stream if you want to chat, like amongst ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, there was a graph from DD. This is from DD Geopolitics. I highly recommend them, and they kind of do a focus on what's called color revolutions, and it's really what happened in Ukraine. In fact, I didn't even know there was a previous one, maybe 10 to 15 years before the Maidan coup. And I think it was called the Orange Revolution or something. Mm-hmm. So, our government and those in the CIA, State Department, I always use the word CIA, but that's shorthand for, a lot of organizations within our government. We're going after Ukraine for a long time to try to disrupt it and turn it, pro-Europe, anti-Russia. Mm-hmm. And that's what started this whole thing. And people, again, I'll say things online and people are in such shock. I mean, I'll say, do you know that the Ukrainian government from the Maidan coup of 2014 until Russia invaded in 22 were killing their own people. They were killing their own people who were ethnic Russians in the Donbass. And they're like, you're a fucking liar, Guys, I'm just giving you information that you don't usually hear in the mainstream, okay? There's a reason why they don't present the news.
Right.
Yeah, and we did regime change, too, there.
Right.
Right.
Like Haiti is a regime change sample. I will always say in the US is the worst. And I'm just like, could you leave the country alone?
Oh my God. And no, I remember there's a great podcast called Revolutions. And I don't remember the guy that did it. It's a couple of years ago. And he talked about the Haiti, the original one. And that was like the first country that got rid of slavery, and they revolted against France. And they've been paying the price ever since. I swear to God, we have gone after that country for 200 years. I mean, it's just
leave them. They're starting to produce their own rice now. They were getting rice from the US and I was like, it's making us sick. Harvard did a study and they said, yeah, it is making you sick. So now they're building canals and their farmers are doing their own rice. And I said, this is what happens when the US says, oh, I'm going to put an embargo. I'm doing these tariffs. I'm doing these other things. These other countries said, okay, that's fine. And they become self-sufficient.
right.
And when you no longer have to rely on the US nor their dollar, what is the worth of the US dollar? And so when you're talking about BRICS coming in and Trump saying, oh, well, if BRICS does come up with a currency, they're going to have 100% tariff. Well, most of these countries are self-sufficient and they don't really care about that. So have you seen what's been going on lately, Trump? Like, are you looking, sir? Because if you have been, you will notice the growth in every single one of those countries without us.
And you think about why on earth would America go and destroy all these other countries around the world? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Why did they do it? Because they've been told by the CEOs of the companies that own them to go do it. It's not actually America's that's doing it. It's like Shell and BP and any of these private corporations that want those minerals, that want the value of that country. They're the ones that are making our government do it.
Yeah, but check out Stephen Donziger's story if anybody wants to be curious about a lawyer that won in, I'm trying to think of the country. He won rights against Shell, I believe, and they just put him on house arrest because he won.
Right.
And they found a judge to prosecute him, even though the government wasn't, the U.S. Justice Department said, well, he didn't do anything wrong. He won the case. Yep. And so even when you win, they try to squash it.
Absolutely. And that's why one of the other things that we talk about is the BDS movement. And I talk about the BDS movement so much because there are a lot of, oh, I'm gonna boycott this, boycott that. But the BDS movement is strategic in what they're doing. And if you don't have a strategic plan, it's not going to work out the way that you think it is, because people will boycott for like 2 months and then they'll stop because, they're like, oh, we did our job. But the BDS is like, okay, this is really what we're going to do. Either we're going to boycott, we are going to put pressure on, or we're going to do something else. They have the strategy. So, and believe it or not, there are BDS parts for different countries. Like even South Africa has a BDS part. I'm like, can we get one for the US? Because I would really like to know. Because some of the brands, they're not US brands. So I would like to know what's, the US parts. But that is where I get most of my boycott information from. And that is $1 bottom line. Like, you can't force me to go shop somewhere.
Right.
And since these corporations are running all of these things, this is where it gets to I did a hashtag, all oppression is connected, because you'll see it in every single place, from Palestine to Congo to Sudan, back to Haiti, Hawaii. Oh my gosh, so many different places that are being oppressed. And you will just start, if you dig into it just a little bit, it doesn't even take much, just a little bit, you will see that the oppression is so connected. Right. And if one person is oppressed, everyone is oppressed. So we have to do the things to stop the oppression where it's starting. And most of it starts from our government.
Yeah.
Really
I think the hard part about boycotts is changing your habit. So we all know Starbucks is off the list. So just don't go there. Just find a local coffee shop that would love to have you.
Right.
And maybe just work on like 1 or 2 things a week. Like, I'm going to stop buying this because I know this is bad, So I'm going to look for an alternative, because we're not telling you to change how you don't drink your coffee or whatever. Just don't buy it from people that are hurting the world.
Right.
They're too big. they use their money in bad ways, you know. And Starbucks is hurting from what I hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
And they're trying to get unionized. So
Well, and that was the big part of the Starbucks in the first place. They weren't a part of the actual BDS movement for the boycott. They never were, but it was more so because of what they did to the workers when they were trying to stand up for Palestine and when they were trying to be unionized, and then what was happening to the people that were going into the shops and being harassed by the cops. It was like, okay, Starbucks, you're doing too much, a little bit too much. So we're just gonna have to check you for a second. And so that's what happened. Now McDonald's is definitely up there, and I can't tell you the last time I've been to McDonald's, and I feel so much better for it.
yeah, it's not good for you anyway.
It's
Jay was reminding me in the chat that it was Exxon that was the Donziger case.
Oh, okay.
And
Thank you.
yes, he thinks Vice did a report on it, but just, I mean, I think he's got a website, freedonziger.com.
Okay.
It's kind of incredible. He's had the longest house arrest in history of our country for winning a lawsuit.
Right. Oh, he's still in house arrest. Wow.
No, I think he got out.
Okay.
But, and they chose their judge. You know, he said it was Exxon. You know, the U.S. Justice Department wasn't going to prosecute him, so they shopped for their judge.
Yep.
So they could do that.
Yep.
It's So we need to change, y'all. We got to change the
We
system.
got to change everything,
And
and not in the Trump fashion.
no, we need it. We need a country that works for everyone here. Yes.
Yeah.
right.
All the people. So
Planet peace.
people, planet, peace. That's our
Mhm.
motto. Well, Kalia, if you want to stay on after for a few or not, up to you. But I just want to thank you for being here. And if you have anything to close with, we'd love to hear it.
Oh, okay. Well, I am on TikTok as Green Party _T, and we spill the tea about the Green Party and everything else that's going on at Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would love to see you there. And just remember that throughout the whole Black History Month of February, we are putting every time we post or do anything else, it is going to be #Bushwear, the number 4, GOV, so we can spread awareness and get visibility to our candidates who definitely need us out there. And you can do more for a candidate across the states than you have ever been able to do just by getting that visibility out there. So I thank you all for coming and sharing in this time with us. And I thank you all for inviting me here, and Ariel for just saying that, you know, I'm a nice person, but he's a great person and I love him so much.
He's pretty awesome, isn't he, right?
Yeah. Thank you so
we
much.
did have a compliment here. Oh, sorry.
Uprising, fight the power. It's an uprising, fight the power.